Question: how much money could you make if you were given $10,000 to gamble on sports, particularly online sports gambling? Well, that's what The Atlantic's McKay Coppins sought to answer in his latest piece. Sucker. My year as a degenerate sports gambler. McKay Coppins joins me now. So I was fascinated by the modifier degenerate. You could have just called yourself a gambler. What's the degeneracy part?
Well, degenerate gambler is a term that a lot of gamblers wear proudly. And in fact, you know, it's funny that you're the first one to ask me about this. We were actually a little worried about using that term because some people take offense. As it turns out, once the story came out, there was offense taken by gamblers, but it was that I hadn't fully earned the title yet. I needed to lose a lot more money before I could be considered a degenerate gambler.
Yes, exactly. There's a degeneracy club, and it's got a much higher threshold of losses than your paltry 9,800 or whatever it was.
That's exactly right.
Got it. So you were not a gambler?
No.
And you wanted to do sort of a spiritual experiment and a practical experiment. What would happen to you once you got into this world, took a dive into online gambling, which is different than going to a casino or a sports, what's the
sportsbook.
Sportsbook, yeah. So what's it like online?
I mean, it's completely different, right? Whereas you used to have to go to a physical location, often in a place like Las Vegas, to gamble on a game. Now, most people in America, wherever they live, walk around with a casino in their pockets. You can, within a few minutes, download one of these big apps, type in your debit card information, and a whole menu of bets, not just for like the NFL, NBA, college basketball, bets for any sport around the world, cricket matches in India, Lithuanian ping pong, you can bet on anything. And the difference is that it's all consuming, right? Like our phones already are, you know, can be very addictive, compulsive, right? Putting gambling on a smartphone makes it so difficult for a lot of people to resist the temptation.
And you write in the piece that there has been in our country historically a moral hazard proposition about gambling. We've been generally, as a society, said this is probably a bad thing.
Yes.
And yet this has sort of opened a literal floodgate online to this activity. And we don't seem to have absorbed some of the built-in hazards that are now flowing through that open channel.
It's one of the strangest things about this current Wild West moment of gambling in America. For literally most of America's history, we had taken the same lesson that every civilization before us took, which is that gambling is a vice that is soul-rotting, potentially civilizationally ruinous, and that it should be stigmatized and regulated, right? Now, look, gambling has always existed. Some people do it illegally. They did before, you know, this last 10 years. But the fact that it is so pervasive, so available, and so unavoidable. I mean, if you turn on any game at any time of the day on any channel, you are bombarded with these neon-soaked ads for online sports books.
Right. If you're a consumer of sports, which I am, I have to plow mentally through this kudzu of ads to get me to try to gamble. And I don't want to gamble.
And that is a pretty new development, right? 10 years ago, that was not the case. 8 years ago, the Supreme Court overturned the federal ban on sports betting, opening the way for states to legalize it in their respective territories. And most states now have. And that's how we entered this new era. These online sports books realized that there was a massive opportunity to make money. The sports leagues got on board, and that's why we see it everywhere.
And you tried to get better at this.
I did.
And the lesson is you can do a lot of work. You can go to a lot of smart sites. And you're still, more often than not, going to lose.
Not just more often than not. I remember an early conversation I had with Nate Silver, the you know,
guru of gurus.
Yes, he's a
spiritual and otherwise
world-famous statistical nerd. He's a longtime gambler. He has made hundreds of thousands of dollars, mostly in poker tournaments. I asked him, if I'm starting with $10,000, what would be a good season for me? How much would I have to win? And he was almost confused by the question. He said, if you make 1 penny, you'll be better than 98% of gamblers. And I don't think people quite realize that. Almost everybody over the course of their lifetime will lose money gambling. But the sports books are very good at convincing you that you're just one bet away from making it all back.
And you're not going to do it again because in Virginia you filled out a form. What is that form?
Self-exemption form. It's not just in Virginia. Almost every state that has legalized sports betting has a self-exemption form that you can fill out to cut yourself off from gambling, at least
on online platforms.
Yes, online. And I would recommend anybody who's watching it, if they think they might have a gambling problem, it's like Odysseus binding himself to the mast, right? Like, you basically make sure that you can't keep gambling. I filled one out the day after the Super Bowl. I have not gambled since.
Odysseus references always welcome here. As are you, my good friend.
Thank you
so much.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.